Check. Joseph's entered the room.
Shall I go with that one?
Oh yeah, you go down. Hello everyone.
So we're just taking questions on the floor. Anyone?
Well, you all know it was a tough night. And, hey, Junior fought like a real proud fighter. He did himself proud, he did his family proud, and he did his fans in New Zealand and the country of Tonga. He did a tremendous job. Now you know why these two guys have fought 4 times for 2 wins and 2 losses each. You know, they're pretty competitive. And, you know, when we were talking early when we first made this fight, we said that we thought that we would get to see the best junior far. Well, no one's ever seen this junior far before. I think this is by far his best ever performance, by a country mile. You know, we'd prepared very well. There was no excuses. We had a very good training camp. You know, we knew that he'd be game. I didn't think he'd be that game, but he fought with enormous purpose, and he was proud. And you know, and I compliment his team. They prepared him very well. You know, they've got quite a professional outfit. There was a lot of banter in the media about different things that were going on, but I think that there's mutual respect for both teams. As Dave will tell you, you will know that we had a lot of challenges with this, and right up until tonight. You know, one stage they came in and said to us, we're going to cancel a couple of fights and you guys are going to be on fighting at 10 o'clock. So, you know, so there was a lot of challenges. A lot of people were thinking that Joe was maybe looking past Junior Far and was thinking about offers that we've had to fight in the UK and some names there. That wasn't the case. He was focused on Junior Far. I thought the scorecards flattered us a little bit. I thought we'd done enough to win, but I also knew that, you know, there were some rounds there that Junior won. You know, I know that Joe was a bit tough on himself afterwards. He thought that there were different times in the fight that he could have boxed a little better. He could have controlled the distance, but you know, we knew that one of the strengths of Junior Far is he's a big guy. You've heard me say it multiple times. He's a big, strong guy, and you know, one thing, and Joe will back me up on this, and I said to Joe all the way through, do not let this guy lay all over you. And that's what he was doing all night. So,
are there still any questions?
How nervous were you waiting for the decision? Kevin said the score flattered you a little bit, but how nervous were you?
You know, I thought it was, like Kevin mentioned, it was a tough fight. He came in with a lot of purpose, and we knew that he could move around very well for a big guy. So we thought it was pretty close, but I thought I did enough to win, and with the result at the end.
Did you ever feel you hurt him, Joe?
Yeah, I felt I did hurt him a few times, but then also, you know, just Kevin mentioned a little bit disappointed. Everything was clicking in training, but then I don't know, it just wasn't the performance we wanted tonight. But I mean, a win's a win.
You put that down to Junior, or?
Oh, yeah, I put it down to, I guess Junior coming in, you know, like we said before the fight, he's got a great team. He came in with a game plan, and he actually moved very well tonight. You know, and it was made it difficult to catch him properly.
Yeah, it sounds a bit gloomy, but you know, after more than a year out of the ring, and a whole new setup, you know, we trained in Vegas under certain conditions, and this was a whole new setup and a year of ring rust. I'm delighted that we won the fight, and I agree, we definitely did enough to win the fight. So, and a credit to Junior Farr, he was tough and showed heart and pride and big and, you know, tough, but we won the fight. And so now hopefully the next fight is not another year and we can build some momentum. I think if you look at Joseph's those years coming through, when he was fighting often, you know, 3-4 times a year, there was real momentum there, knockouts coming and all of that. So I think we have to take the positive out of today.
What did you make of the clinching? Like, was it frustrating? Did you think there should have been a deduction?
No, it's just boxing. It is what it is. You know, the goal was to keep the distance, but we got him close, and he used his, you know, his height and his weight, and used it very well. Just shows that we need to work on a few things. Or maybe we worked on it, but I didn't display it properly.
I think Junior took an enormous amount of punishment to the body throughout the fight, and there were several times, especially when he was in our corner, he was really grimacing. And all credit to him. I think, you know, he showed real character. You know, I honestly thought the way Joe was hitting him to the body that he wouldn't last 12 rounds, so it surprised me.
It seemed like you were really swinging for things in the early rounds, Joe. Like, was the goal a knockout, an early knockout? Was that what the game plan was?
No, not so much a knockout. Like going into every fight, you want to get a knockout. That's the goal. And I guess if you don't swing and if you don't throw the punches, you're never going to know if you're going to catch him. So the goal was to start strong and put pressure on. But you know, he was able to just move around the ring very well.
Joe, I guess to get David as well. I mean, there was a lot of talk about you wanting that knockout and needing that knockout. So
Beautiful. Yeah.
the fact that you didn't get it, what does that now mean?
For me, styles make fights, and I guess when you know, he came forward and moved a lot. I guess when you have someone that moves, it was a little bit more difficult to try and catch him. And like I said, he moved very well. Whereas if we have another fighter, say example Chisora, who comes forward, I think it's going to be a different story.
Matchroom's already tweeted, you know, you and Chisora. Is that likely to be next for you, or you're not sure?
What's the plans, Coach?
David Hay,
Manager.
Chisora's manager's been in contact saying, yep, we want the fight, and obviously Eddie Hearn's on record and has been in touch as well, and so obviously everyone wanted to see how tonight went, and I think tonight was a win, and I want to repeat that, it was a clear win. So of course there's stuff to be improved, but after a year of ring rust, it was a clear win. If I was Dereck Chisora, who knows, Chisora probably might want the fight even more now, you know, but, and they're both household names in the UK, which is what I think got everyone interested in the first place, and there's a bit of unfinished business with the previous cancellation, the spider bite. So, you know, if that fight's on the cards, I think our camp have all agreed we take that fight. But we've got to talk to the promoter, Matchroom, probably tomorrow, just to see what the lay of the land is.
How hard is it to block things as it stands with COVID and everything else?
Well, I think obviously in the UK they're doing fights without crowds and smaller crowds in the US, and so we can always jump on one of those cards. Those fights, the really big fights, I don't think will happen under COVID conditions, like Joshua Fury, or it will be very tricky. But the likes of Parker Chisora could potentially main event or could work commercially, and so again, it's not really my decision or our decision. Our promoter, Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, it's really up to them. But they've got a lot of cards and a lot of financial backing. They've been very supportive, and they've given us every indication that they're keen to see Parker Chisora happen. So, and you know, in this sport, you've got to roll with the punches. So if that's not an option, we could have another look at doing something down here again. Government has shown that we'll put massive amounts of money into some sports, and so maybe it's time for boxing to get a much smaller amount of money and try put a big fight on down here.
Just on tonight, when did you find out about what's happening tomorrow, and was there ever a chance that you'd have to pull the pin on tonight?
I was notified at about 8:30 p.m. that there was a 9 p.m. briefing with the Prime Minister, which made everyone think that there was probably going to be a lockdown. I didn't think they'd lock down tonight because it would cause panic. You know, you don't want to be telling people quickly, different cities, all of that, and have a mad rush and panic car crash. So it would be irresponsible. So I thought it would be tomorrow. and it was obviously early tomorrow at 6 a.m. And so, from a personal perspective, I'm relieved and delighted that we scraped this promotion through before the lockdown. But obviously, in terms of the health of the country, it's not good that COVID's potentially out there again. And so it's good we're locking down to get it under control, and hopefully that it's not too long.
Joe, when did you find out?
When we were wrapping our hands, came in and said you might be walking earlier. Okay then. What are you going to do?
What about the celebrations? I guess it means you can't celebrate too much.
Probably, as I've grown older now and a little bit more mature, it's celebration is just want to keep it quiet with the team and with the family, and just look forward to what's next and start playing the next challenge.
Is there any discussion about those bigger fights with Matchroom coming down here?
I did say to you heard on a phone call, hey, could we ever look at the likes of a Usyk or Chisora White coming down here? And they said, why not? If it makes fights happen where they make economic sense or the most money. So in the world, a fight will generally land where the money is more. So if there's no gate ticket revenue in the UK, but here you've got ticket revenue of maybe government. But then I don't think Chisora would come here for any amount of money. He wants home advantage. So it takes the money, but also the opponent's got to have the balls, for want of a better word, to go to someone else's hometown, like Joseph has much of his career, but some opponents aren't willing to do that. And so the noise that I'm hearing is that Chisora wants us to go up there, but won't consider coming here.
Given that, how keen are you to get something finalised sooner rather than later, especially because of the ring rust that you
As a
mentioned
team,
as
we
well?
want to keep busy. I think when you kept busy in those earlier years, 14, 15 and 16, everything flowed a lot better. I guess when you have time out of the ring as a fighter, you can do all the training and sparring and everything else, but the fights are the most important part.
What do you take out of this fight then, more than anything that you might be able to take into a Chisora fight?
Still fit, baby. Fitness is good, but just a few things to work on, and it would have been better would have been cool to brought what I was doing in training here, but I guess it's all learning.
Eddie Hearn referenced late April, early May for a possible Chisora fight. Is that realistic?
What's the...
In terms of like your turnaround from this fight physically?
I don't think we look at April, but the May date would be touch and go, and dependent on Joe being in good health and all that. So it's something that I guess we discuss as a team, and then also the opportunity has to be there. Like the sands might have shifted; it might not be there anymore. So we got to talk to them and then decide what we want to do and go from there.
You dropped Eddie a text with the result.
Today,
Yeah.
I would say he was probably watching it
He was probably watching.
on DAZN up there in London.
Would you consider dropping in a text, we got the W, let's push forward on our future plans in the next 6 months?
Oh no, of course we'll make contact. Yeah, absolutely. Probably tomorrow. Yep.
You guys have fought a few times before now. Was he a different fighter now?
Yeah, I mean the same thing as the amateurs. Good moving, a lot of movement actually, and he displayed it tonight. He picked the shots, and he came in with a good plan.
How do you rate his power?
Every heavyweight has power, or every fighter. If you sit down and you punches, and you land it good, then you got power.
Did he rock you at any stage?
Not so much rock, just caught me with a few shots.
Joe, what did you learn as a fighter tonight? What did you learn yourself as a fighter?
What did I learn tonight?
Yeah. You came into this fight, there's a lot of hype around this, and there's a lot of cheering, particularly
Yeah.
with Junior, and a lot of support for him. But, there was a lot of expectation on you, not only to win, but win well. But what did you learn tonight in your performance?
I learned, I could see that fitness is there, and, I just got to keep working on a few things.
Kevin, when's the ideal return date for you as a
For
trainer?
me,
Yeah.
I'm scheduled to fly back to Vegas on Thursday.
Kevin's
Ah,
been
so
here
for
for
Joe.
In terms of Joe physically, but also logistically for you guys as well.
I think, right at the moment, Joe seems to have come through this fight, unscathed. there's nothing sore, his hands are good, shoulders, elbows. You know, the brief, you know, we've literally spent 60 seconds talking in the dressing room, you know, so you know, he said everything feels good. I'm sure he'll be a bit sore tomorrow. You know, he'll need a couple of weeks off for sure. And, you know, like you mentioned before, he's in really good shape at the moment. His fitness is good. He's been, you know, he's put a lot of work in over the last 12 months. You know, we need to make the most of that while he's in such good shape. And if the fights present themselves, especially the meaningful fights, you know, we need to be taking them.
Kevin, what grade do you give Paco on his performance tonight?
Out of what?
Maybe A, B, C, or out of 10, or I don't know. What do you think?
C++?
Is that what you rate?
C+.
That sounds pretty right.
W.
We all done?
Yeah.
Joe, just regarding this fight, how much of this is a win for, I guess, the Pacific and South Auckland areas where you come from? How much of this fight is a win for them?
It's a great win for talent in New Zealand, being shown around the world. It's a great win for both of us from South Auckland. You know, and there's a lot of, you know, from New Zealand and the Polynesians, it's a great win for all of us, being able to put on a good night of boxing and have a great, you know, have an audience where around the world they're not able to.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
I think Junior's
Thanks,
they're gonna come in here, the far team.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
okay.
dark have covered it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
See you. All good.
Can we keep it fresh tomorrow?
Hey, Sidney.
Hey David, well, after lockdown. Right, yes. Goes up.
Oh, no. Thank you.
16 minutes.